Station 44. It's your girl B. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back, family. Today we are diving right into the Capricorn new moon, all right? And this new moon is happening on January 13th at midnight. So this is Wednesday, okay? Now, this is midnight Eastern time. So if you are in a time zone behind Eastern time, this will be happening on the evening of the 12th, which is Tuesday. All right, so keep that in mind. Translate midnight to your local time zone, okay? Now, the theme around this particular new moon is all about long-term goal setting, okay? So we're looking at those long-term goals, and we're also revisiting power and control. And I feel like we've been deep in power and control issues all of 2020, and now, you know, we're still dealing with it in 2021, but I think it's all to help us release. Now, what's really interesting about this Capricorn new moon is that I looked at the energies here and I was like, man, a lot of this seems real familiar. I feel like I, was looking at something that I was having deja vu, that I was looking at something that I had seen before. And then I went back and I was looking in my notes and I was like, these energies present for this Capricorn new moon were some of the very same energies or similar energies that were present for the Scorpio new moon. And we had that Scorpio new moon in November of 2020. Okay, so just recently. And I was like, well, this was interesting. So this new moon I am seeing is a continuation of the work that was started on that Scorpio new moon, all right? So that Scorpio new moon in November was really a transformative energy. We were setting our intentions and we were getting aligned on our inner and outer needs, okay? So we were goal setting really about that transformation and aligning those inner and outer needs and putting them on one track together, okay? So this was also interesting because that new moon in Scorpio was sextiling all the Capricorn planets at the time. And at that time we had Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto that were still in Capricorn, and they were on they're the very edges on the last degrees of Capricorn, right? So this was helping us lock in. That energy was helping us lock in and achieve goals that we were setting around new foundations and new structures that we were building upon. So we were really focused on, again, transforming a lot of things, aligning those inner and outer needs, and then building on those new foundations. So we were setting all our goals around that. That new moon was also sextiling Neptune, which means harmonious exchange of energy. And that was giving us the deep intuition that we needed to go in the most authentic direction, okay? So these energies, I wanted to talk about the Scorpio new moon because as I talk about this Capricorn new moon, you're gonna see the same themes popping back up, just in a slightly different variation, okay? So Capricorn new moon, I believe, is part 2 of this work, right? So we're building on what we started in November. We're building upon those structures, those foundations that we set our goals on in November. So this is really helping us fire up our ambition of our long-term goals, okay? So we were focused on the structure, the foundation, laying that down, that foundation, which is, if we want to think about it in terms of a house, right? If we want to build a house, and listen, I know nothing about construction, so if I botch this up, don't come for me. But if we're building a house or any type of structure, we've got to lay the foundation first, right? That's what we were focused on back in November. Now we're ready to put some walls up. We're ready for some windows, some doors. We want to complete this building, and we want to start focusing on what it's going to take to complete the building, which is our long-term goals. What are the things that we're going to need to put in place or focus upon in order to see this entire thing to completion, okay? So this is what this energy is bringing in. So at this new moon, this Capricorn new moon, what's going to be happening is that the moon was going to be tightly conjunct Pluto, all right? Now they're going to be about a degree apart. Now when it's tightly conjunct Pluto, it's almost taking on a Scorpio moon quality, okay? And that's why I wanted to go back and talk about that Scorpio moon. because there's just a similar dynamic here. So this moon is kind of like a blend between Scorpio energy and Capricorn energy, which was very, very similar to what we were seeing in November, okay? So what we're having here is a harmonizing energy between the two, because that Scorpio and Capricorn energy works really well. That's earth and it's water. It's harmonizing. It works very well in partnership together. And I'll tell you why. Capricorn energy is hardworking, it's ambitious, okay? It makes those plans. It's the cardinal energy, it gets things started, it's initiating. Scorpio energy is passionate, it's determined, it's dedicating to seeing things through, and it's fixed, so it's all about that follow through and completion. So you see how those two work very well together, where Capricorn is getting things started and has all the ambition, and then Scorpio is determined and loyal and like, yes, let's get this done, let's close this out, I'm gonna make sure that it's completed. So those energies working together are very, very, very harmonious, okay? They both have an element of power and control issues that they're struggling with. The power and control on the Capricorn side is more around status, security, recognition. That's where their power and control really comes in on that energy. On the Scorpio side, the power and control is really over influence and manipulation, okay? So they're both kind of, again, like they really get each other, and very, very complementary energies, but also can go left and really dark in the power control phase. So that Plutonian Scorpio-like energy and that Capricornian energy is highly beneficial to the relentless pursuit of our long-term goals, okay? What goals are tied to our life ambition? What buildings are we building? What are we putting up on that foundation that we started to lay down in November, okay? So more supporting energy that's coming in here for that long-term vision is Mars. Now, Mars recently moved out of Aries and into Taurus on January 6th, right? So what's happening here with this is Mars is giving us in Taurus, because Mars is our energy, it's our ambition, our drive. Anything that Mars touches or goes into energy-wise, it's lighting a fire up under that. So in Taurus, what is Taurus about? It's about mastering the material world. It's about security. It's about building in that way, okay? So Mars is helping us, you know, basically put energy behind building things, our foundations, our structures. And this is all about our long-term goals. It's giving us patience. It's giving us patience, all right? To build that building, to achieve those long-term goals, to see them through to completion, because usually that Mars energy has no patience, but with it in Taurus, it's giving us that patience. And I go all into Mars and Taurus and that transit, and I have that in the last video that I talked about Capricorn season part 2. So I'm gonna actually link that down below if you're interested in hearing more about Mars and Taurus, as well as some of the other transits that are happening right now, okay? So with this, Mars in Taurus helping us have patience, see things through to completion. That's also adding on to the current energy that we're having with the moon. This is where we should be focused on setting our intentions, long-term goals. This is where this energy is going to be highly beneficial for us. What do we want to really build, and how are we, you know, not necessarily the how, because the how is going to come, but really the what. How, like, what is this building going to look like at the end? Can you envision that? So what are these ambitions that you have, and going towards that and setting, you know, those long-term goals in motion? So another area of focus for this new moon is definitely giving me that vibe that we received back in November with the Scorpio new moon. This new moon is going to be sextile Neptune again, just like that moon in November. What this means is giving us a deep psychological understanding behind our motivations on a subconscious and an unconscious level. So this is the best energy for digging or bringing things up to the surface, the things that are hidden, the things that aren't easily seen or understood or recognized. It's giving us a chance to bring that, like I say, muck up to the surface, okay? This is also about bringing up to the surface any issues that are still lingering around power and control. Now, there are two things or two different ways that we can look at this power and control, and they're all tied around our desire for safety and security. On one hand, right, we have some of us who are so focused on hyper controlling certain situations, on the way that things unfold, on the way things pan out, the way it happens has to happen X, Y, and Z, just like this step. It's got to go from A to B to C, just like this. And I've got to be able to control how this happens because I don't feel secure or safe at the core, at the root. I really feel like, if I don't control it, I don't feel like it's gonna happen. I don't feel a sense of safety and security, because when you feel a sense of real security, real safety, there is an ease in letting go and allowing things to flow as they will, and to allowing yourself to experience without trying to hyper control each particular situation, every step, and being so locked in and focused on that. That's more from a scarcity or a lack mindset of there not being enough, not being safe, not being secure. So asking yourself on a subconscious or an unconscious level, what are you holding on to that is keeping you like stuck in operating that way? Then on the other side, we have another group that is really giving away their power, right? They're allowing someone else to take the responsibility of providing them with security or with safety, right? Because they don't feel that they can do it for themselves. Let me tell you, like, there is no one, I don't care who they are and who they, what they promise you, no one can provide you with a sense of safety and security. So for anyone to say, or for you to put your faith in someone else to make you completely safe and secure, that is putting false hope or false sense of safety and security into someone else's hands, because you lack or don't want to take responsibility for your own decisions, your own choices, or you're afraid to, So again, allowing that to come up and say, why do I give my power away? And I don't care if it's your teacher, I don't care if it's the government, I don't care if it's your significant other. Allowing yourself to wrestle with that question of how do I give my power away and why do I give my power away? What's deep within me? And, allowing yourselves to setting some intentions and getting healing to balance those out on either side, whether you're the hyper controller or the one not controlling at all and just want to give all your power away. Just being able to set some intentions around, allowing what needs to come up to be released and finding a balance within yourself on that. So we're still working through those power and control issues, okay? So those are the two areas, like I said, that you should focus on: the power and control piece and on the long-term goal setting. Okay, so let's get into some of the herbs that you can use with this new moon. What I would recommend is herbs that are going to be grounding, that are going to definitely help balance out some of those root chakra issues around those safety and security themes that kept popping up, especially under the power and control, and also as we're setting our long-term goals. So a lot of the herbs can be found in this Capricorn new moon or this Capricorn moon tea. If you're not a tea drinker, I will say you don't have to use this just for tea. This is just natural plant earth energy that can be used in a multitude of ways, from your baths, your spiritual baths, to your candle work, to your oils, to incense, to carrying it in your mojo bag. However you want to use this, it does not have to be for ingesting. You don't have to just drink it. You can drink it, but you can also use it many ways. So that is definitely the product that I'm going to plug. And then another herb that I would recommend is cinnamon, because cinnamon also has a lot of those same properties of that grounding It's also connected to that root chakra, and any of your root herbs are going to be great or beneficial for that as well. So before I actually move on to the crystals, I will say quickly that I also have the Aquarius and the Leo moon teas in stock. And the reason why I'm mentioning that is because those are the next two moons coming up. We have the Leo full moon followed by the Aquarius new moon. So if you want to go ahead and get your hands on those early, I only have a limited quantity of products. So that's link is going to be down in the description box if you're interested. So you should order early if you're interested. Crystals, let's talk about crystals. The first crystal that I'm going to recommend is garnet. And the reason why I'm talking about garnet is because it's also, again, linked to that root chakra. I think the root chakra is really one of the most important things that we're looking at in terms of some of this energy and helping us really navigate it. So again, this is grounding. It's also passion. It's also giving us some of that passionate energy. It helps us balance out our sex drive and our emotions, because the one thing that I forgot to mention with this energy is that it's highly sexual, because we're talking about combining that Capricorn energy with that Pluto energy and the moon. I mean, this is a very highly sexual energy, and we're gonna have to, you know, we might be feeling that. We might really be feeling that high sexual energy. So, you know, keeping an even balance on that and utilizing it in the most beneficial way. You can use also smoky quartz, which is known as the stone of power, again, because as we're going back to those power and control issues, either, you know, balancing out the power or the control issues that you have, or using it to reclaim your power if you have given it away. Clear quartz can always be used in place of any crystal if you do not have that specific one. Just want to mention that. The first ritual that I would recommend with this energy, and I only have 3 rituals, I'm just going to say that. The first one is long-term goal setting. So some type of long-term goal setting exercise, whatever that looks like for you. If it's like first going into deep meditation, if it's the writing exercise, if it's you know, some people are vision like oriented or visual, so making a vision board. So really identifying what are you determined to see to completion, or you want to succeed in, no matter how long it takes, no matter what. Like, what are your ultimate top goals? Okay, so that's gonna really help you hone in on those long-term goals. The second ritual that I would recommend is your root chakra balancing work, okay? And this, again, we're gonna keep honing in on this root chakra, because really this is what connects us to the material or the physical world. This is what connects us to the earth. And so if that is not balanced, and if it's off, our sense of, again, safety and security and stability is off, and we come from a lack mindset, we come from a scarcity mindset. So when we are in balance and we are feeling safe and secure, we can now create goals that are more authentic versus coming from a space of scarcity or lack or fear. Okay, so it's just allowing us to align to our most authentic path, because we have removed the fear out of the picture. I actually have an entire video, an entire series really, on working through your chakras, but I have a specific video on the root chakra work, so I'm gonna go ahead and link that so that you can get more guidance if you really want to dive into working on your root chakra and balancing that out. And then the last thing that I'm going to recommend is shadow work, okay? That shadow ego work, right? So the dark moon is a great time to focus on shadow work, especially confronting more of those egotistical or aspects of ourselves, so the things that our ego is holding on to in order to protect us, because that's the ego's job. The ego is designed to protect us, right? It's like our bodyguard. And so diving into more of that shadow work and confronting your ego and getting balanced with your ego, in the sense of like, what do I need to allow my ego to chill out on so that I can progress forward in a healthier and more progressive and a productive and more aligned manner. I know that was just like, I was like, where am I going with this? But I found my way. So again, shadow work, diving into those aspects of self, again, because this Neptune influence is going to be there helping us going into that subconscious and unconscious and being like, yo, ego, you can't be holding on to this anymore. You've got to ease up. Come on, we got to get aligned. We got to get balanced. We're going places, and you can't slow us down. So definitely diving into that shadow work. And that's it. That's all I have in terms of the rituals. Like I said, I didn't have many, but I hope that this energy is going to be useful for you in helping you set those long-term goals and or addressing those power and control issues that you may have, and releasing and healing and getting through that. Let me know in the comments down below if you are Capricorn gang, okay? Where's my Capricorns at this Capricorn new moon? Also, what kind of other placements you have in Capricorn. I know we're dealing with a super Capricorn generation. There's a lot of people who have stelliums in Capricorn. So where my Capricorn stellium gang at? And if you know what a stellium is, it's 3 or more planets in the sign of Capricorn. So if you are that person, also comment down below. So if you found this helpful, give this video a thumbs up. You know, I always welcome you to subscribe if you aren't subscribed already, and stay tuned because I also have more videos coming your way. Actually, a lot more things coming your way, and I also want to spice up the variety a little bit more. So stay tuned for all of that, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.